Good afternoon. I'm Adrian. I'm based in Singapore. MDC asked me to do the recording in case we have a bad connection, but I will be connected live at the end of the session for any question. So I'm going to spend the next 20-30 minutes to show you one of our solutions in the Dassault System portfolio about factory simulation. So if you are familiar with the Dassault System portfolio, what I'm going to showcase right now, it's everything about Delmia. So that's what you can see there in the V plus R quadrant of the compass. Delmia is a solution in the Dassault System portfolio to handle everything regarding manufacturing and production. I like to start with the context. What is Delmia about, and what is the position of Delmia solution in the context of in the industry. You are most probably familiar with engineering tools such as CAD software, SolidWorks, CATIA, PLM system like Enovia, stress analysis. We have in Dassault the Simulia portfolio. So all those engineering tools are used to develop a product. So you will design your product, your new product, with the specification as required by your final customer. And what we call the digital divide, it's the fact that from this product development to the production side, with the execution tool like an ERP, advanced planning and scheduling system, manufacturing execution system. Often there is little that is reused from product development to production. So it's a jump to the unknown, and you are basically hoping that everything will happen right without being sure. So what are we getting from product development? It's basically all the engineering bill of material, the CAD model that you will get, the requirement, configuration, if you have different variant on your product. That's on the engineering tool, in the PLM exactly, that you will define all of that. And the input required by the execution tool are the manufacturing bill of material, the routing, so what is the sequence of operation I need to perform to have my final product, work instruction for the shop floor to make sure that the operator on the shop floor are following and doing the right job. And also machine programs. So if you use any kind of robots or CNC machine, how can you define those programs? But today there is a little link between those two aspects: engineering tool with the output, what we are getting out of it, and the execution tool, what is required for the ERP, APS, or MES. So that's where in Dassault System, that's where we have a solution, the digital manufacturing solution. So it's under Delmia solution, and it will allow you to bridge those two aspects between engineering and shop floor. So out of that, you will be able to do some cycle time optimization, offline programming, if it's about 6-axis robots that you have on the shop floor, machine validation, maybe for CNC. And the most important there, it's you are still in the digital world. You are consuming whatever has been defined on the engineering, so the CAD model, for example, and you can simulate all your manufacturing processes. And like that, you will have first time right. So you move from the virtual world to the real world. You will avoid any mistake on the shop floor. And all of that, what is very important, it's about digital integration. So meaning that everything is connected. You have a design change from the R&D center, the people in charge of developing the product. What is the impact on the production side? If you have any work instruction to be updated, or longer processing time for some operation, what will be the impact? So today it's what I'm going to talk about. It's about digital manufacturing. There you have a quick overview of what we can do in digital manufacturing. So it's all about manufacturing bill of material, process planning. So it's basically the definition of the sequence of the operation. You have just quickly there an overview. You have a Gantt where you can see the sequence of tasks that needs to be performed. Time management. We have tools to make some standard time measurement with depending on the industry, it can be MTM1, MTM2 if you're familiar with that. Robotics, so how to do offline programming. You are avoiding to take the time of an expensive robot in the shop floor. If you do manual teaching, whatever time you spend to perform the programming, it's time that the robot is not working and you are basically there losing time and money. Fabrication is all about machining application. We also have some additive manufacturing solution. There it's basically from prismatic machining up to multi-axis machining, mill turn machining. We are able to define the toolpath, do machine simulation to avoid any collision between the tool and the equipment. And finally, last type of resources after the robots, CNC, last type of resources we can simulate also. It's about the human, so virtual ergonomics, how to make sure that your operator on the shop floor will be able to perform the job in a safe environment, and to validate also the feasibility of the operation. So can my operator see properly what he needs to do? Can he reach the tool and so on? And what I'm going to focus on in the presentation today, it's about layout planning. So how do you build a 3D representation of your shop floor with all your assets? It's maybe the most important thing you have in your factory. It's all the equipment, the skills, and the knowledge. So we'll see that, start with that. And then when you have that, it's about material flow simulation. So it's basically how can you simulate the manufacturing of your product in the line. And out of that, you can validate the expected throughput. If you are targeting 500 product, let's say in a shift, you will be able to simulate, is it possible to reach this throughput? If not, what modification can you do? Should I increase the number of workers in the line? You can measure the KPI related to each of your equipment in the shop floor, utilization, idle time. We will see that more in detail just after. So material flow simulation, what is it? I will just go with the last sentence there. It's a representation of a system with its dynamic processes in an experimentable model to reach findings which are transferable to reality. Basically, you have a virtual world. You can simulate everything to make sure that it's going to happen right in the shop floor. The power of the 3D is really you can do all the mistake, and it's the time to do the mistake in the virtual world to avoid it to happen in the real world. What we hear often from our customer in the manufacturing world, the challenges there, it's not limited to that, sorry. One of the first one, it's how to, if you're planning to make some investment on your shop floor, maybe implementation of AGV system, maybe a new type of machine, how to make sure that those investments are actually going to help you to increase your productivity. Second point, it's maybe identifying and eliminating the risk in the shop floor before you go live. So typically the bottleneck, the clashes, if you have, for example, power and free conveyor, how to make sure that the movement of the power and free conveyor will be done without any risk of collision and so on. And last point, it's maybe the most important, how to make sure that you will meet production and quality target. So if you are a supplier of an OEM, if you are requested to produce a new product, maybe 1,000 parts per day, how to make sure that this new product will be able to be manufactured on time and on quantity for the OEM. So that's the challenges that we often see in the manufacturing world. And next, it's most probably when you have the challenges, it's the question that you will ask yourself when you, let's talk about introduction of a new product, how to make sure that your assets, your line, will be able to fulfill the expected throughput. So that's where with the virtual world, you will be able to run production scenarios, all the what if scenario. What if I have a pool of 5 workers instead of 3? Is it going to help me in the productivity? What is the impact of having storage with a capacity of 15 instead of 5? Am I going to reduce a bottleneck? All those scenarios can be simulated and validated in the virtual world before being implemented in the real world. How can you optimize your resources allocation and utilization? How do you eliminate the bottleneck? So all of that most probably is the kind of question you will ask yourself before you start production of a new product, or maybe with the current product you have on your line, how to make sure that if you want to increase the productivity, what should be done? Should I invest in a new conveyor, in a new robot, and so on? So this slide, very simple, but it's a summary of whatever needs to be done to run this factory flow simulation. On the left side, you have two components: the shop floor layout. So it's basically your assets, your shop floor. What do you have on the shop floor? So conveyor, operators, storage, robots, machine, assembly station, and so on. All of that, so that will be the first step, and I will show you what are the strategy we can have to develop a shop floor layout. And the second item, it's about the resource time. So it's basically the operation, the processes that needs to be performed on the shop floor. So it's basically the step one. I need to install this product. It's going to take that much time, and I need to use an operator with the skills of electrician, for example. So when you have those two information, shop floor layout and resource time, so what needs to happen on the shop floor, you can start to combine those two information together to define the line behavior. When you have this line behavior, you can simulate, and out of the simulation, you can measure the KPI. After you can generate some reports about the throughput, the bottleneck, the utilization of your resources, and so on. When you have results like that, you can start to move to what if scenario. If the result of your simulation are not as expected, you can start to build some what if scenario. So that's where you will look back to the shop floor layout. For example, what if I add operators on my on one station? What if I increase the speed of my conveyor? Those are the type of what if scenario you will be able to perform. The other arrow, it's maybe more difficult to apply when maybe you could also change the process of manufacturing. So meaning that maybe with new strategy like make or buy, should I, instead of doing myself the manufacturing in my facility, should I go with a supplier who will provide me the full subassembly required? So that's where we can also include that in the what if scenario. So starting with the shop floor definition, one of the you have a factory. What you can start to do to have the model of your factory, you can start to work with 3D scan. So today it's very common to have a 3D scan of your assets, your factory, and then you can, from this 3D scan, you can do a mix between detail model. So what you can see there, it's we bring a detail model of the equipment of the robot, and we can mix those two information together, and you can start to manipulate. So it's a way to start having 3D representation of your layout. All the 3D model can come from any CAD software. Ideally, you can work with SolidWorks or CATIA, but we can also handle any other CAD software like StepFile and so on. So that's one of the strategy. Another one, often you might get already a drawing of your facility, DWG file, and that's what you can see there in the background. We started to import this drawing, and that's basically our footprint for our definition. And in Delmia, in the 3D Experience platform, you will have access to a library of standard resources. So there we started with the fence, and all those resources are parametric, meaning that you will see, for example, for this storage, you can choose, taking the reference of the drawing actually, you can choose the size exactly of your storage, and you can simply position. And at the end, you will have something like that, a full model of your shop floor. And everything you can see there, it's done from the standard library of provided with Delmia. When you have if you have more detailed equipment like robots, we have also in the platform all the major robot brands, so KUKA, ABB, Motoman, and so on, are available. So it's not only the 3D model that you will have, it's also all the inverse kinematic, all the manufacturer specification that are already defined to this particular equipment. So you can reuse those standard robots, and you can also, if required, if you have this kind of scissor lift in your factory, we can define out of the CAD model, we can define the kinematic, and later we can simulate that to make sure that this equipment will work in your factory or in your new layout. So we saw how to build the 3D model of your factory. Next step is to move to the definition of the processes that will happen on the shop floor. There it's done very quickly. There you have a system where we start with an operator who's loading boxes or raw material on a conveyor. All the logic of the manufacturing process is defined. You might have some proportion, either your box will go straight or turn on the right. We have two different sides there. It's loaded either by a robot or an operator. And all the time of transformation, for example, you load the raw material to the CNC machine, you have a program that will run for that amount of time. All of that is entered in the model, and you can start to simulate this model. Another example there of automotive industry, where it's a typical automotive supplier. There, the line is for the manufacturing of car seat. And if we just look quickly there, you have many information. Any of the resources there on the shop floor, you can select it and you will have access to the KPI associated to it. You have there this pie chart. You see that it's live, it's moving. Basically, the green color means that the operator is working. The darker green color there means that the worker is walking, is transferring part maybe from a station to another. And the yellow means that he's not working. So there is no activity available for him to work. So that's the quick KPI we can get out of it. You have also the overall system utilization there on this panel that give you information on overall on your line, what is basically the bottleneck. And if we do a quick pause there in the report, any point of time, you can have access to this report that will give you detail on each resources, what's happening. So if we stop there on the worker, we have 3 workers in the line. The last column then there give us information on the utilization. So right now it's maybe it's only 10 minutes of simulation of production, so the utilization is still low. We have also the distance walk by each of the worker. It can be a characteristic of the line that you want to check. Maybe you do not want the worker in different station to walk more depending of the station. So that's valid for the worker. For the conveyor, we'll have the same kind of information, storage, the average capacity of your storage for the robot and so on. So that's the type of reports that you will get at the end. And one thing I didn't mention there, it's about the live Gantt, as we called. It's along the timeline, it will quickly give you information on what was the status of the equipment. So again, green means that the resource is working. Yellow, there is no work to be performed yet for this particular resource. And there, for example, we will see that later, the red color, it's we are simulating there a breakdown of the machine, or maybe tooling that you need to change regularly. We can simulate that also in the model. We will see that a bit later. There it's more a generic use case. It's a mix between packaging operation. You have basically some machine performing some transformation of a product, and the operator is in charge of loading, packing those items in boxes. It's a quick general use case, giving you an overview of what are the different capabilities. You can maybe notice there that we have also a AGV system. And again, with the live Gantt, we have a quick overview of what is the utilization overall of our equipment. Some of the machine blue color are not working at all. So we can start to investigate. Is it needed to have that many machine? Do I miss some operator to start the machine? You can start to do all those kind of analysis after the simulation. There, just one more item I did mention, the capability of simulating machine breakdown or maybe cleaning that you need to perform. There, we define on this machine MTBF, and when we have a breakdown of machine, we assign this worker as a person in charge with the skills maybe to perform the maintenance or the tool change or the cleaning of the machine, whatever needs to be simulated, you can implement. So where is it interesting? It's that you can simulate maybe should you have a dedicated resource for all those maintenance operation, or should you have in a pool maybe one of your operator with the skills, maybe is multitask depending of his need. Depending on the need, sorry, we can assign this worker to a maintenance operation. Something I wanted to mention there also, which we have, it's for HGVs, it's big trend nowadays. A lot of company will implement HGVs, but what is important, it's when you implement those equipment, it's to make sure that you will have enough. Is it better to have 4 HGV or 3, basically? But one of the biggest thing to simulate there for HGVs, it's about the battery consumption. You might discover while you are simulating that 3 HGVs will do the job, but at some point, some of the HGVs doesn't have battery anymore. They need to recharge, so they are not available to perform the activities. So that's where you will discover that you need to implement 4 instead of 3. That's the kind of simulation you can perform, validation you can do. And again, there it's done virtually before the implementation in the real world. You do not want to discover this kind of issue on the shop floor when everything is implemented. So that was very quickly an overview of the capabilities, and just to mention there about the what if scenario. So what can be, you run your simulation, you have some reports of the result, and now you want to do some modification, some parameters that you might want to change. I'm starting with, for example, changing the conveyor speed in this line. And by the way, there you can maybe notice that it's a very simple representation of the line. We are not looking at very detailed, realistic representation of the line. The most important there, it's the footprint, basically, the space that each of those assembly stations maybe are taking on the line, the distance that between the equipment when the operator needs to transfer parts. That's what is the most important there. And what we are doing there in this simulation, so it's continuous flow line. So the conveyor is supposed to never stop, and the operator are performing assembly on the conveyor. If the conveyor is too fast, you might discover that some of the operators do not have the right material available from previous station, and in that case, you have the red color there. The conveyor needs to stop for everybody on the line because a step haven't been performed and we need to stop all the line. So that's where you can start to do some simulation on the speed of a conveyor, which you can find the optimum speed for your line. Another something I mentioned just before, it's about the HGV implementation. There it's a quick, so you can recognize there the line for the seat assembly. And what we are simulating there is the supply of material to the different station. The supply is done from maybe the warehouse area to the different station. And what is done there, we want to make sure that we have, considering the distance that needs to be traveled by the HGV, considering the speed of the HGV, we want to make sure that we will supply on time. So multiple scenarios are done. Should we have a pool of HGV dedicated to the left side of the line? Should we have a dedicated pool for the right side of the line? And you can start to do some simulation of, in case you have some HGVs needs to stop on the line because to avoid any collision, you can start to make sure that your via point, so if an HGV is here, the following one will avoid it by taking this branch. So you can perform those kind of simulation very early before you have any HGV implementation done, and you can make sure like that whatever is going to be implemented in the shop floor is going to happen right the first time. Last thing about the pool of worker. There it's an example of in the today context with COVID, you might need to follow some social distancing in the shop floor, following the request of your government. In this example, we start with initial line, 9 station, 9 workers. So each worker is assigned to one particular station, and we have like that the line running. So there it's as is, the before COVID time. And what we are doing there, it's we have some performance of the line. There we have a cycle time of about 10 seconds per station, and after the simulation, one shift allow you to perform the assembly of more than 2,000 parts, final product in one shift. But after social distancing implementation, to respect the distance between workers, so we have still 9 stations, but only 3 workers assigned to this line. So again, we will perform the simulation. There it's real time, but you could accelerate. You can simulate one shift in few seconds, in few minutes. And what we are doing at the end of this new safe distancing rule, we can notice that the performance of the line is only of 700 parts final product in one shift. So it's about almost 30% only of the initial, the as-is model. And it's something that you can, before you implement again such kind of social distancing, maybe you can see the impact that it will have on your productivity. You can anticipate maybe modification of some of the line that are not used. Maybe you can replace with change with a new product, or you can maybe add more shifts. If you are not in 3 shifts per day, you can maybe move from 1 shift to 2 to 3 shifts per day. So just to finish, what is important, what can you get out of this solution? It's all about getting more efficient. So validate, simulate the scenarios in the virtual world. So you are not taking the time of the shop floor to perform new ideas, validation, and so on. You will minimize the risk and save money by avoiding unexpected errors. So typically, you expect to have this throughput with this new equipment. If you didn't simulate it, you can be surprised in the bad way. Increase accuracy. You can increase transparency and scenario coverage as a basis for qualified decision. So before implementing or starting a new initiative, you will be able to validate and make sure that it's going to behave as expected. Watch in 3D, it's maybe the most powerful way to understand what's going to happen. And this model, it's a continuous improvement that you can have on your for your assets. If maybe you have new employee coming, they will have a better understanding with those kind of simulation as almost like a training to understand what's done in the shop floor. So that's for today the presentation I have. I think we will end the session with some question and answer. So I will be connected live to answer to those questions. Thank you very much.